Hello dear students. In this session, let us understand about the types of factoring. So before getting into the types of factoring, where we need to understand what is factoring first. See, in finance, factoring, it is a concept where all business, they will be involved in this process. So basically there will be three parties. One is buyer, another one is seller, another one is this factor company. So on credit basis, seller he'll be selling his goods to the buyer. So later, after 3 or 5 months, he'll be getting the payment from the buyer. So in between, if the buyer he needs any, he needs fund in case of emergency situation. So to do the production process, so this buyer he'll be approach this factor company. So where factor company by getting all the bills, all the invoices as a proof, as an evidence, his factor company will be providing fund to the buyer. Later date on the maturity period, so from buyer, factor company will be getting the payment. So this is a concept actually. So see here, so seller, factor and buyer. So he'll be selling the goods, promise to pay. That's the second step. And third is, so seller sending the invoice to the factor. And fourth is pay the offered amount, whatever the amount, so which is what mentioned in the bill, so it will be offered. And next is fifth is request to pay to the buyer, and later the payment will be done by the thing. So here factor company, they will be taking some commission for the process that what they are offering. So types in the sense, first is recourse factoring. See, recourse factoring, very simple, factor company where they'll be taking, the risk, whatever risk it is involved. So the company is completely responsible for any invoices. See, in case if the is there any issue of getting the payment from the buyer, so this factor company, they'll take the credit risk. So that is the recourse factoring. Whereas for non-recourse factoring is something that factor company, they don't want to take any risk into their heads. Okay, simply, so they just offer money, they just do lend the service, but they won't take any credit risk. Okay, so next is what? Disclosed factoring. See, disclosed factoring is the typical type of invoice factoring, okay, where the customers are aware they are dealing with the factoring business. Customers know very well that one more party, additional party is involved into the business, and that party is factor company. So because of this factor company, all the three parties are getting benefited. So all these information are clearly known by the customers. And maturity is something that, at the maturity date, everything it has, I said like 3 months or 5 months, there might be some maturity date, which is what mentioned. At that time, definitely this amount has to be received. Okay. Next is export factoring. See, export factoring, usually it is also called as international factoring, where all the transactions, it is what happened in cross border. Okay, either services or goods or services, whatever. Okay, and next is what? Reverse factoring. Reverse factoring, what is this? It is actually called as, also known as supply chain factoring. The buyer or importer initiates this step of factoring. Okay, so where the benefit is like it improves the cash flows of both buyers and sellers by using a bank or similar financial institutions. So that is the concept of reverse factoring. And next is what? Advance factoring. So advance factoring, it usually pays the business. What they'll do is they pay some advance amount, okay, to the buyer, okay, for which the buyer is asking for, like say for example 80%. Okay, so they have certain amount with them, remaining they'll be paying as advance. Okay, and next is the spot factoring. See, spot factoring, where it allows the business to sell a single outstanding invoice. Okay, so for the occasional large invoices or specific transactions, for that specific cause, this kind of factoring will be produced. Thank you.